Fabrizio Poli is the chairman of Kaizen Aerospace, and he joins me now live from Manchester in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Now, there are speculations on what may have caused the crash, and there is an ongoing investigation at the moment. But for someone who is familiar with planes, what do you think may have caused this crash?
Well, first of all, it's a military aircraft, so and there is a kind of conflict going on out there. So it could have been, a bomb. It could have been they could have shot it down. We still don't know. But when an accident happens, there's never one reason why it happens, unless it's shot down, of course. There's always about 6 or 7 reasons which line up in what's defined as the Swiss cheese model. It could be pilot training. It could be such a maintenance problem, the weather. When all these things suddenly line up, that's when the accident happens. Now, they're saying that maybe the pilot mistook the road from the runway and he may have descended a bit lower. That could have maybe been the reason why the airplane crashed. But as we go further into the investigation and collect all the data from the cockpit voice recorder, which gives us the conversation between the pilots and the rest of the crew, the instruments, the altitude, and all the parameters of the flight, we won't really be able to pinpoint exactly what the cause of this accident was. But it's a military aircraft, and when military aircraft crash, there's always the element it's a military aircraft. So anything military is a weapon, basically. So it could be that it had been sabotaged or it was shot down or whatever. There's always that element that needs to be explored as well, which you don't get so much when the civilian aircraft crashes.
Well, talk to us a bit about this Air Force plane. How does it operate? What kind of maintenance do these planes need to go through?
Well, this is an airplane that was first built in 1969, been produced all the way through to 1986. It's a turboprop. It's maintained by the Ukrainian Airforce, which I assume they do a good job. Usually most air forces around the world look after their airplanes. They've got government funds to do that. And so, I don't think it's a maintenance issue here. Because, most military outfits around the world do maintain their airplanes well.
Is it rare for an incident like this to happen with an Air Force plane?
Well, we see every year Air Force airplanes crash. Now, this is a transport aircraft. It's not a fighter jet or whatever. But, in the military, you do get a lot of crashes because they are pushing themselves outside what's called the flight envelope. Now, the flight envelope is an area when aircraft get tested and they create this flight envelope, and the pilots need to fly the airplane according to those parameters. They're not supposed to go too fast or too slow, whatever. They have to stay within those parameters. Well, what the military tend to do is they tend to push beyond that boundary because it's a very high performance environment. They're going in and out to save lives. And so they are pushing the boundary. So you tend to see more accidents in military aviation than civilian aviation for those reasons, because they're always pushing those boundaries.
All right, Fabrizio Poli, thank you so much for sharing that analysis with us here on TRT World. We really appreciate it.